your Blue Cross agent or 1-800-858-6800 for your free copy of The Power of Pooling.
Greg Kerr with sports at 5, 6, and 11 on Eyewitness News.
Now that I have your attention, I'm sure you're all just dying to know the latest news about my wedding. Contrary to any vicious rumors you may have heard, the entire Buchanan family will be in attendance.
In attendance where, Alex?
Yes, we heard you had a problem finding a church.
Yes, or a warehouse, for that matter.
More rumors. Asa is keeping the locale a secret because he's an incurable romantic. He's taken care of every detail, except for one, my surprise bridal shower. Only one person knows when and where that will be. So let's have it, ladies. Which one of you is throwing me my party? Why, Joe, what a pleasant surprise.
I'm sorry, you know what, I should have called first.
No, don't be silly. Come on in. Your timing's perfect. So? Do you have a question about work?
Yeah, that's just it. I don't think I can work for you anymore.
Okay, Kim, thanks. Yeah, I guess he's on the way. All right, bye-bye. That's weird. He left a long time ago.
Then he'll be here. Believe me, Joey's not going to forget it that we're treating Mom for dinner.
Okay, now, you're sure you told him how important this is, right?
Sure, I'm sure. Look, we all three put this photo album thing together for her surprise. You have to see some of these pictures Andrew and Cassie gave us. Look at this one. She and Sloan look so happy.
They sure do, don't they?
Kevin, Jesse.
Oh. You spoiled the surprise. We were going to wait until Joey showed up, but... Well, give it to her. She's seen it now. Mom. What's wrong?
Larry, it's pretty obvious that there is something wrong here. Now, what is it?
Look, Clint, I really have to go.
Look, I know you said that. You said that. Larry, I clipped Sloan Carpenter one time on the jaw, and his doctor wants to race across town and make sure that he's all right. Why is that?
Well, I was worried when you said that.
Look, if this concerns Vicky, you have to tell me. Now, does it?
Clint,
I thought we were friends.
We are.
Then tell me, what is really going on with Vicky and Sloan? What do you know that I don't?
Sorry, children.
Oh, it's okay, Mom. The bride-to-be is entitled to get a bit emotional so soon before the big date.
But the photo album's supposed to make you happy.
You worked so hard on this.
Well, everybody pitched in. I mean, Andrew and Cassie, they give us a lot of pictures of Sloan. You have to see some of these. They're so funny.
It's not your main wedding present or anything. It's just a little surprise we threw together.
Yeah. We just figured, hey, if Sloan's good enough for you, he's really good.
Stop, please, Jesse, stop. This album is such a lovely thought. It's so lovely. But, well, there's been a slight change in plans. See, Sloan and I are not getting married.
What?
What are you talking about?
There's not going to be a wedding, honey. At least, not for me.
Why?
Because Sloan has decided he wants to marry somebody else.
Breaking up with Vicky was the hardest thing I've ever done. Oh, God, how I miss her. But I didn't put her through all this just to turn around and tell her the truth about my illness. I will not have her sit a death watch over me.
You make it sound very noble. And maybe it is. God, I just don't even know anymore. But I do know that the truth will come out.
Not if Andrew and Cassie and Larry keep silent. I'm going to get progressively worse. I can't let Vicky see me deteriorate. That's why I resigned from the presidency of the university. And tomorrow morning, we'll head for Tidewater. You can get back to your roses, and I'll sit on my porch and wait for the sunset.
And what about Vicky? What'll happen to her?
Vicky will live on.
Without you?
She'll love again.
Sloan.
It's the only way, Bev. It's the only way. I can't let Vicky sit around and watch me die.
Clint, I hate to be the one to tell you, but you're not the only friend I have in this town. Over the past few years, Sloan and I have developed our own friendship. We play golf, we have dinner, and he's my patient. So when you tell me you clipped him on the jaw, I'm a little concerned, professionally and personally. How else would you expect me to react?
Like someone who's known Vicky all her life and who should be outraged at the way Sloan has been treating her.
Are you suggesting I don't care about Vicky?
Well, at the moment, I'm not too sure. Right now, it seems like you care more about Sloan Carpenter than you do about Vicky. That doesn't make sense to me.
Well, I'm sorry. I don't give a damn if it makes any sense at all. Sloan Carpenter is my patient, along with many others, and I should be treating him and those others. I shouldn't be sitting around listening to some fool question. Excuse me, I'll talk to you later.
Larry! Larry! Damn! What the hell are you hiding?
Well, there's really nothing much to tell. He just said that now all of a sudden he finds he's in love with her again. I didn't believe him.
Do you realize you could have killed him? Who are you?
This is Clint, Vicky's ex.
Oh, Sloan, please, this is insane. It has gone too far. You have got to clear this up.
Oh, my God.
Joe, if this is because of New York, I'm really very sorry.
You know what? It's nothing. It's not about that at all. It's just, I mean, I have classes, and, you know, you're busy, too, with other people.
When have I ever been too busy for you? And what other people do you have in mind?
Doreen, I just work for you. I mean, you have guys you see socially. It's no big deal.
I do? Is there some guy in particular you have in mind?
Oh, come on, if Tina knows, then probably a lot of people do, right?
Oh, Tina told you that there was a man in my life.
You know what? This isn't any of my business. I shouldn't have even mentioned it. I'm sorry.
Joe, what exactly did Tina tell you?
That you have a thing for my Uncle David. Well, it's true, isn't it?
No, it most definitely is not. But I think I can't blame her for being confused. She's probably seen me get very emotional around David, but it's understandable. The man saved my life. I've come to think of him as a very dear friend. But that's all. And it's all it ever will be.
Really?
Really. Not that I wouldn't love to have a man in my life. A man who had sensitivity and strength, a man who I could trust, a man who shared my interests, but a man like that's not easy to come by.
Well, maybe you've just been looking in the wrong places.
Maybe I have.
Well, I must be keeping you from dinner, so
No.
don't worry, I'll be back here to work first thing tomorrow morning.
Oh, that's nice, but you're here now. Joe, there's something I want to show you. Something I think you'll find very exciting. Something I've been dying to try, but I certainly don't want to do it alone. Could I talk you into joining me?
Telling you, Bulge, it's good business. We waylay the wedding. We kidnap Alex, we hold her for ransom, and we ask for $2 billion. I don't like it, Buck. Don't you worry about it. Old Ace will pay you the freight. He's got Alex under his skin by now.
Yeah, he ain't the only one. Let's face it, Buck. This ain't just business. We want it for ourselves.
No, I ain't saying she ain't one in a million. But $2 billion?
Remember the way she smelled when she sprayed that French stuff on her?
Oh, you had to remind me. Eau de Lafitte.
Oui, oui.
I got it. You first. All right. After we kidnap Alex and we get our ransom,
we don't give her back.
That's brilliant, see? That's genius. That's slicker than deer guts in a doorknob. We get our $2 billion and we get to keep Alex.
Yeah, there's just one hitch.
What?
She ain't just a pretty face. Alex is smart, you know? And she's tough to boot. I mean, how are we gonna kidnap her?
I don't mean to spoil the surprise. I really don't. But you know how hectic it is, scheduling things before a wedding, and I need to know the time and place of my shower.
Well, Alex, I'd be happy to share any plans for your party, if I had any. Same here, Alex, but I don't know about any shower. No. I'm afraid I don't either.
None of you? Oh, I get it. Nora Gannon and Vicki Buchanan have sworn you to secrecy because they're going to throw me a shower and they don't want me to know anything of...
Alex, I can assure you that neither Nora nor Victoria has spoken one word to me about a bridal shower. Oh, but not to worry, dear. I'm sure that one of your closer friends is planning something already.
I don't have any closer friends. I was beginning to feel terribly, terribly close to the three of you. I just told Asa the other day how much I enjoy talking over a pitcher of lemonade with my wonderful Lizzie, Ginny, and Natalie.
Norma. My name is Norma.
Well, of course it is. I just thought Natalie was such a delightful nickname. Well, I just want you to know that I won't mind at all if one of you decides to throw me a shower, despite whatever plans Vicki and Nora have made.
Well, I suppose every bride is entitled to have... What Norma means is that every bride is entitled to a wonderful surprise. And yours was persuading Asa to climb on the marriage go-round one more time. Dear Asa can give you anything a new bride might want.
You're absolutely right, Virginia. But I don't need a new blender or a microwave oven. I was looking more for some camaraderie with the Landview ladies in society. I thought that a shower would be the perfect opportunity.
Excuse me, Miss Olenoff.
Would you? Yes?
There's a call for you.
Could you tell them I'll call them back?
Mr. Buchanan's office said it was important. There's a telephone right this way.
Can't stand being away from me for 5 minutes. I'll be right back. Excuse me.
Quick, before she comes back.
Ladies, keep your seats. Please, sit. I have a proposition for you. An offer I don't think you can refuse. Come on, just hold still, I said, or I'm going to call the ambulance. I'll finish this off.
There's no concussion, there's no bleeding, there's no nothing. I just got a punch in the jaw.
Oh, is that all? Well, in your condition, a punch in the jaw...
What's it gonna do, kill me?
Sloan, you're going to go straight to Vicky. You're going to tell her you made up this whole crazy story about wanting to marry Beverly. And then you're going to tell her the complete truth about your illness, and then you're going to let her help you deal with it.
Listen to me, Doctor, you can tell me how to live, but you will not tell me how to die.
Sloan, will you please listen to him?
No. It's about time he listens to me. This wasn't just an idle thing I came up with, you know? I agonized over this. I love her. I wanted to have a life with her. I can't do that. This, what I've planned, is the only choice. I will not have Vicky sitting vigil for me when she should be getting on with her life. Maybe with Clint. Now, if you really want to help me, keep silent.
You keep talking about sparing Vicky pain. The only one you're sparing is yourself.
How can you say that?
Sloan, you can't bear for Vicky to watch you turn into a mere shadow of the man she fell in love with. That's what this is all about, isn't it? It's not about Vicky's pain. It's about your own stubborn pride. Let me ask you a question, my friend. Is it worth the hell you're putting Vicky through right now? Is it?
My card's on the table, ladies. My bride-to-be would like a surprise shower. What Alex wants, I want Alex to have.
Asa, as I started to tell your fiancé, I'm totally sympathetic.
Yes,
I'd be more than happy.
all sympathize, Asa. That's why we're willing to overlook certain, how shall I say, past indiscretions and attend your wedding, wherever it may be.
Oh, it's our civic duty, considering that Alex was so heroic in the capture of that criminal, Bulge Hackman.
Yes, but it would be quite unseemly of us to entertain for your Miss Olenoff, because despite her impression that we are close, we hardly know her.
I understand completely, Liz. With you ladies, propriety is everything. So what if I were to make it a proper thing to do?
Oh, Asa.
You are on the library board, aren't you?
Yes.
Well, I was thinking of giving a donation in Alex's name. Would $100,000 strike you as being proper enough?
Oh, no. Where are they, Asa?
You can't buy me a bridal shower. How could you humiliate me this way?
Oh, Mom. I'm sorry, honey. I'm so sorry.
Well, it's not your fault, Mom. This doesn't make sense. Why would he say that he's falling for somebody else when everybody knows that he's in love with you, Mom?
I don't know. I guess there's just one explanation. One that I'm not really very pleased to admit. I think that he never really loved me after all.
But he said he did. I mean, all the things he said and all the things he did.
I know, honey. I know.
He made me start to like him, trust him. How could he do this to you? Please stop ringing the bell. I just got the baby to sleep. Clint!
Cassie, I hope this isn't a bad time for you, but I've got something on my mind, and I really need to talk it through.
I'm sorry, Clint. Andrew's not here at the moment, but I could have...
Well, actually, I'm here to see you. May I? Thank you.
Me? Why?
I think you know why. I've had a very busy afternoon, talking to Vicky and then talking to Sloan, and I know about the wedding being called off. What I don't know is why.
Well, if you spoke to Vicky and Sloan, I'm sure that they...
Yeah, I got an earful. All about Beverly Crane, the old high school sweetheart, and how she swept poor old Sloan off his feet.
Yeah, Clint, I really don't know what more I can say.
You can say the truth, Cassie. You can just tell me the truth. Now, I've been going over and over in my mind all the things that Vicky told me, all the things that Sloan swears up and down is the truth, but it just doesn't wash. I mean, this thing about the new love in his life and calling off the wedding. There's more going on than he's letting on. So tell me. As one reporter to another, Cassie, tell me the real story.
Even if there is a real story, what makes you think that I know what it is?
Huh. Spoken like a true journalist. Answer a question with another question. All right, let me do the legwork here, and you draw the conclusions. When Vicky told me about the wedding being called off, she was devastated.
Well, how do you expect to react?
No, but she was also completely bewildered by it. In all these months, she hadn't had a hint, not a clue, not a suspicion that Sloan had another woman in his life.
They always say that the wife is the last to know, so that's probably the same for fiancé.
Cassie, not Vicky. Vicky is one of the most perceptive human beings I've ever known in my life. Now, if Sloan was becoming interested in another woman, Vicky would have picked up on the signals. Unless, of course, there were no signals.
Clint, you're losing me.
Am I? Okay, let's go back to my conversation a little while ago with Dr. Larry Wallach. When I asked Larry about Vicky and Sloan, he acted completely surprised that I knew the truth. As if it were some deep, dark secret, like between a doctor and a patient. It was as if we were talking about two different things. I mean, to me, it was simply a case of a broken heart. But to Larry, it seemed more like it was medical. And I knew I was onto something when I told him that I had hit Sloan in the jaw and knocked him down.
You knocked him out. Oh, my God. Clint, is he okay?
That's exactly the way Larry reacted. And Beverly Crane. Now, Sloan wasn't hurt. I only hit him once, for God's sake. But everybody's acting as if the blow was fatal. Now, the only explanation for that is that it could have been.
Clint, please, just...
It could have been, couldn't it, Cassie? Not because I hit him so hard, but because he's so sick. Isn't that it? Sloan's out of remission, isn't he? That's what's going on here, isn't it, Cassie? Sloan's dying. And he doesn't want Vicky to know about it.
Clint, please don't make me say anything more.
Cassie, look at me. We've been friends for a long time. Now, I think you need to tell somebody about this. And I know that I need to know it. I need to know the truth. Is Sloan out of remission? He is dying, isn't he?
I think we'd better go.
You did it, didn't you?
Jesse, wait.
You not only fooled Mom, you fooled me, Kevin, Joey,
Jesse,
everybody.
Jesse.
Everybody begged me to forgive you. You worked so hard to convince me how much you love Mom. And guess what? I was right about you all along. You're mean and horrible, and I hate you. I hate you. I hate him. I hate him.
Please, just... Quite a victory, General. Hope you're proud of yourself, man. Jessica!
I'm sorry, Vicky. I had no idea you'd be here. We'll be going.
Sloan, wait a moment, please. There's something I need to ask you.
Well, now is neither the time nor place.
Oh, on the contrary, I think this is the perfect time, and I don't really think there is a good place. Perhaps you could spare him for a moment, Beverly. Please, one moment away from her. Don't you owe me that much?
How could you do this to me? Well, now, this has been most diverting. Excuse me, Alice.
Good night, all.
Yes, come along, Norma. Yes, quickly, dear.
You wanted a shower, didn't you?
I wanted a shower, but I didn't want to have to pay for the damn thing.
You're not paying for it. I am, so what's the big deal?
The wedding, a wedding is the biggest deal there is. Every girl dreams of growing up and that special moment when she says, I do. And there are all the things that go along with that, Asa. There's the dinners and the family, the friends, the well-wishers, the people that shower her with presents and give her bad advice and jokes and... I don't know exactly how this happened, Asa. I don't have anybody to wish me well.
Alex, honey, I mean, you were willing to lay a guilt trip on those poor ladies to get them to come across for you. What's the difference?
Well, there's a big difference. I thought you were supposed to make people feel a little bit guilty. That way you get sterling silver instead of alarm clocks. The idea of these people knowing that my fiancé had to pay for my bridal shower.
Since when do you care what other people think? When you married Carlo Hesse, anybody throw you a shower?
I'm glad you brought that up. When I married Carlo, I was marrying into the mob, literally. Nobody could even come to our wedding. But this time, I don't have my husband's job to blame for this. It's my fault. It's me. I'm Alexandra Olenoff without a friend in the world.
Oh, sweetheart, come on. Life's got a way of coming up with surprises. One of those society dames is just liable to have a change of heart.
Don't you even think about bribing one of those people or twisting their arms. It's degrading and humiliating, and it doesn't work anyway. If Nora or Vicky don't give me a shower, then there just isn't going to be one. Can I borrow your thumbs?
I'm sorry?
To open the champagne bottle.
Yes, of course. No problem. I do it all the time.
Usually I take the wrapper and the wire off first.
Yeah, that is the traditional method. I guess I'm used to the newer method. But I guess sometimes old ways are best.
Yes. Certain things do get better with age.
Whew. So then, how about a toast?
By all means. To what?
Let's drink to your new house.
No. Mm-mm. I want to drink to something infinitely better. To us. Joe and Dorian. Two unlikely people who have become very, very good friends.
We thought it was all behind him. And now Hodgkins is back to the point where the doctors don't think they can do anything more.
How much time?
I don't know. Even if he lives a few months, you know, he's gonna be terribly weak and incapacitated.
And he didn't want Vicky to see him that way.
It's not just pride. I thought it was so at first, but he really loves her, Clint. He didn't want to put her through the pain of watching him die. And I think that Beverly's been in love with him since they were kids. So when he asked her to pretend, I really don't think it was pretending for her.
Well, that might be, but him pretending that he was in love with her and that he wanted to marry her instead of Vicky.
I know. But Beverly was completely against it. And when Andrew and I found out, we did everything we could to talk him out of it, but we love him so much. And as Beverly said, how do you deny a dying man his final wish?
Look, I don't blame you. I don't blame Andrew. I don't blame Beverly Crane. I don't even blame Sloan. That can't change what I have to do.
You're gonna go tell Vicky the truth.
Don't try and talk me
No,
out.
I'm not. I wanted to tell her myself, but Clint, will you consider doing one thing?
That depends.
Go to Sloan. Tell him what you're gonna do. That way he'll be prepared when Vicky goes to him. He seems really strong right now, but he's not. Clint, please, he's probably having dinner with Beverly tonight at the club. Go. Give him fair warning.
Excuse me, I'll be in the car. You know, I have tried and tried to make some sense out of what's happened here.
Vicky, don't make this difficult.
Oh, I know, yes. Well, I'm supposed to take it well and preserve my dignity at all costs, yes. And accept the inevitable, but I can't do that. Maybe you don't love me anymore. Maybe you never did. But you see, I still have those feelings. And for me to have to look at you and Beverly, I can't do it.
Well, you won't have to. I have resigned from the university, effective immediately, and tomorrow, Bev and I are returning to Tidewater. Well, we'll start a life there. We'll travel, faraway places. So don't worry, it won't happen again.
My God, you make it sound like I'm never going to see you again.
It's best for everyone, don't you think? Well, Beverly's waiting. I should go. Goodbye, Vicky. Don't cry. Please don't cry.
How did we make oatmeal? Alex, look on the bright side.
What bright side?
Well, you still got me. And I'm giving you the wedding of the century in the most amazing place on earth. I mean, it's not chopped liver, you know.
No, it's not.
And there's the honeymoon. After that, a life together in Landview. With my money and your style. We'll lord it over Liz McNamara and those thin-lipped snob ladies.
That's right. We'll really give it to him, won't we?
You bet you will.
Okay.
You know something? When our first anniversary rolls around, we're gonna throw one hell of a shindig.
We are?
And we are not going to invite Liz and the gang.
Would you do that for me?
Alex, honey, I would do anything for you. Anything.
Bulge! Bulge, I have got it, boy. I have got it in spades.
You bring the mustard?
Boy, you gotta stop thinking about you feeding your face and concentrate on your priorities.
What else am I gonna do? We ain't got no plan to get Alex back.
Oh, but I do, boy. I do. I know how we can kidnap Alex, and I know how we can get away with it.
Yes. To us. Something's missing.
You could fool me.
That's better. Unless maybe you think it's a little corny.
Corny?
Yeah, I mean, all of this. The inauguration of my new heated pool, us sitting on the patio, music at the touch of a button. Maybe it seems like something more for a stuffy socialite, not for Generation X.
Well, you are not quite like any socialite I've ever met. And anyway, I've never really considered myself a part of a generation.
More of a free spirit.
You find that funny?
I find it charming. I really do. Absolutely charming. How do free spirits feel about dancing?
You tell me.
You do care, don't you?
I really have to go.
Tell me you don't care. Just tell me that.
As a friend, of course I do. Goodbye, Vicky.
Sloan.